So I'm here joined by, of course, Ban.
That's me.
Yeah, and Lotto.
Hi, that's me.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
Hi, that's me.
Doing pretty good.
I want to hear how band's doing. Let's hear it.
Well, it all started back. No, I'm doing pretty good. How about, how about you?
Doing really well. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I
Right.
I didn't write questions, but I'm just gonna use the same as yesterday because I'm lazy.
No, you're good. Just
That's
treat me like I'm
fine.
Ban.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not even here. I'm two people today.
So
we can swap. Ban,
yeah.
Ban can talk about movies.
Yeah.
Oh God. They
Yeah.
go and they keep going.
So just from the start, this is gonna be really scuffed because, like I said yesterday, this is the first podcast that we've done. You have experience because of your own show, and you do this like all. But me and Ben, nope, this is the first time, except like last episode. But
Yeah.
You guys are doing great so far.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, look, shit always happens. That's what I was telling Vix as well. I mean, like, I technically was like almost an hour late for like my debut stream, and not because of like getting stuff set up, but because like no shit, like the town I was in, a train runs through the center of it, and I just had to like sit and wait for the train while I was like missing my debut time.
I think my
Shit
stuff
happened.
crashed like twice on my debut.
yeah,
Oh no.
I was like, oh God, is this how it's gonna be?
Yes and no. It's like a scene from Leon the Professional. It's like, is life always this hard or just when you're a kid?
Yeah.
You know, always this hard.
Just the first one. There we go. Oh, can't grab them.
so yeah, I did have one question here that I wanted to ask you, and that is why did or how did you start VTubing, and why?
So I started VTubing because, so for those who don't know, I had worked in the film industry for a few years, and I shot a lot of pilots, did a lot of work in different positions out there. But the whole time I was working on that stuff, I just really loved like talking about movies. Like you'd spend like a 16-hour day just exhausted, but like you'd end the day typically by sitting down with everybody, like either for over like dinner or like just like putting equipment away, and you'd just talk. And I loved getting to talk about what movies inspired people because everybody there was creative and like an artist in their own way, and it was fun getting to explore that. And I had a bunch of ideas for video essays in my head, but then I thought, well, there's many, like, there's a lot of people out there that are like not only better at it than I would be, but also kind of have that built-in following. So it's sort of a saturated thing already. So then I started to connect my interest in that with my interest in watching clips of VTubers because I was fascinated by VTubers. Yeah, since Aichan and stuff, I really thought it was like a neat idea, and it was something that I wanted to be a part of for a while. So when things kind of shut down out here because of COVID, I was supposed to direct a film last summer. It was going to be like my actual directorial debut, but it didn't wind up going through because it was a road trip movie and COVID had hit like real hard. It involved a lot of travel.
No.
Yeah, so it didn't work out. That got swept out from under me, and I was just kind of treading water for a bit, debating, okay, so what do I have? What am I good at? And I'm like, I love editing, I love to write, I love visual art, and I'm obsessed with movies, have been since elementary school. And I decided, okay, let's see. And I started looking through like VTubers, and I thought to myself, you know what? I've considered this, and there is not a VTuber dedicated to movies solely or like dedicated to talking about film. So then I thought to myself, okay, well maybe I can do that. Like maybe I can, because that was my in. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's how I can write video essays. I can talk about movies. I can talk to other people about them. But now I'm an anime boy. No,
He
and
talks about movies and does them.
suddenly people are curious. and I it's been fantastic because I was the entire time worried that it wasn't going to work out or
Mhm.
it wouldn't have an audience, there wouldn't be enough crossover. But no, I've never been so happy to be wrong before because I've not only gotten to meet incredible people like both of you guys, but I've made some connections and relationships I feel like I'll hold on to for a long time. And I've made a lot of fulfilling work and stuff that I'm really proud of that I'm making for myself, like not for,
Mhm.
a studio where like in the middle of the day they'll send over like a new first AD and they'll just like shout at you for like hours. Like I'm around very sweet people, and Vix, my partner, is also a VTuber, so that's something we get to
Mm-hmm.
share together. And no, all in all, I'm an extremely lucky guy that so far this is working. So knock on wood, I hope I can keep this rolling as long as possible because yeah, it gets me into really awesome opportunities like this today.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
your content is always fun. Of course, I think I've said to you my personal favorite is Owen and me,
Mm-hmm.
the Marley and me spin.
Oh, and I've been working on that edit for like days, and I plan to finish it this week
Oh
because
yes.
like every time, because I could easily have just like done some zooms or just done like
Yeah.
some like just chopped it up easily. But now I started thinking, oh my god, I want to do all these photoshops. I want
Yeah.
Marley as a human holding a dying Owen Wilson as a dog.
Oh no.
These-
I
just a
love
shot
it.
of Hanako and I walking up to Disney because they own Marley and Me now.
Oh, they do.
And they do. It was a Fox movie, so now it's
Oh.
officially owned by
Marley will
the
join
mouse.
the
And
MCU. Nice.
oh man, maybe that'd be great. Come on, I mean, Loki and WandaVision are jumping all over reality. I don't see why we
There you
can't
go.
have
And
like,
Owen Wilson is in Loki,
oh,
so
there we go. Oh, that'd be an
that's
insane reveal at the end of Loki if he's just like, hey, it's me, Owen Marley Wilson.
here's my dog.
Ben, thank you so much for saying that because that's gonna be the title on YouTube and Spotify.
Oh, there you go. You're
I'm
welcome.
sorry. I'm sorry if I ruined Tom Hiddleston from getting on this show.
Maybe it'll want him to come on even more. I know he's an Owen Wilson fan. They get along, so.
Get the two of them. They're like, we have to plug season 2 of Loki. We have to make sure we stop by the Orokast.
Meanwhile, I'd be like, hold on, you guys might want to plug that, but we've got this even funnier thing.
Oh boy, but
Goodness.
yeah, I need to release that edit. Honestly, I need to do more edits because that's my biggest weakness right now that I need to
Mhm.
fix. Like as a VTuber, is the fact that like I'm not uploading like VODs and stuff, and I'm not. I need to make more clips, like little like bits and stuff.
Yeah.
And I definitely intend to, hopefully soon.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm sort of stuck on trying to make everything myself at this point. So I'm like, okay, I'll do the clips, and then once I've learned how to make all these things, then I can focus a bit more on that. But then I was like, but I also want to upload those. It's like, where do I put everything?
Yeah, I need to work on it. Oh god.
Yeah. That's also something that I was thinking about when I first started because my thing was I love video editing and making like video essays. That's something that I
Same
really
here.
enjoy. But yeah, the streaming just took over the whole video thing. So that's something that I still need to do.
It seems like you're in the right place. I mean, you seem to really love doing this.
Yeah, I love it. I really enjoy it, but this isn't editing. It's just I'm too lazy to edit
Not
the
yet.
things out of here. Yeah,
I did some mid editing and made myself into a tin can last time. So.
that's true.
Totally purposely.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Oh goodness. I'm not
Yeah,
even sure what happened on that one.
I would offer to edit some of the show for you, but like I've already offered to like edit like 3 things that I've just never
Oh,
finished for other
goodness.
VTubers. I so badly am just like send it to me. I'll cut one for you, but I'm like, oh
Oh.
no, I can't.
Yeah,
Maybe when I'm done with those.
Your mind says yes, your body says hold on. We weren't
Like-
ready.
my heart says, please, 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 just you love editing, edit for these guys, and then like my brain is just like, you fucking idiot. What about the other people you said you were gonna
Did
do
you
that
just
for?
waited?
Oh boy. What's
Goodness.
your guys' cursing policy? I want to make sure I don't curse too
Oh
much.
no,
if I can.
you can say
No,
whatever
no,
you want. I don't care.
Yeah, as long as it's
Okay.
TOS friendly.
Cool. Thank you. Well, yeah. Don't worry. I'm not going to talk
Obviously.
about the conflict in Malaysia or anything.
Next week's topic. Brilliant.
Oh, nice. There you go. We're getting very real with this. Bringing up like Iron
Oh,
Mouse. How
no.
do you feel about the border conflict?
Oh my god.
Ben, you're a tin can again. Ben, you're a tin can again.
There we
Bringing
go.
out
No, I'm not.
Roboban.
Yeah, Roboban. Damn.
I think I just leant on the keyboard wrong on that one. Okay, there you go.
Good.
I'm just gonna move it over there. I can't touch it then.
Is that just gonna be a thing for every episode that you just turn into a robot
The
or a tin can for?
accidental
Yeah,
The running gag. People listen to the podcast for the band robot moment.
yeah.
They wait and they so they can write down each time, and it will
Yeah.
turn into a conspiracy.
Just a Twitter
It
account.
happens on
Just
the
a Twitter
dot
account.
at the
One
same
episode.
time.
I miss
Yeah.
one
Every time.
episode, and suddenly it's not me who's on the podcast.
Whoa.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, I mean, this works out for Ban, because if Ban ever can't like make the show, Ban can be like, okay, I'll just grab a friend of mine and then I'll give them the modulator and be like, hey
robot.
guys, it's Ban.
Yeah.
Damn, no, Mike's
Just
busted
say
again.
you're from Britland. Oh god, I've been training people in that speak, so I'm slowly corrupting people.
Well, I've just been mocking you with it.
Oh yeah, that's part of the training.
Oh,
You just didn't realize.
you did give me the power of the British.
Exactly.
The power of the British. Is that what Bowie had in Labyrinth?
Well,
Nice.
I mean, he definitely had some sort of power. Yeah. Funny
I
enough,
mean, I
with
know where
that
I was
film-
looking the whole time.
Yeah, funny enough, with that film, the first time we put it on, I think it was my brother. He like just sort of walked in, and like was like, "Oh man, that guy's got stiff balls."
I can't imagine what it would
It's like,
be
what?
like to walk in on somebody watching Labyrinth and having no idea what it is. You just walk in and just
Yeah.
watch, like, you just go, is that David Bowie throwing a baby around goblin puppets?
We were thinking, a bit of dance, magic dance coming up, and they were probably a little freaked out.
Just be like, okay, look, if you're not in on this movie during this scene, then you're not going to get in on this movie at all.
Might have to try when you're older. There we are. Oh.
So yeah, another question. This has probably been answered 1,000 times already on your stream. But what's your favorite movie?
Oh, geez. See, that's difficult, because like I remember the only other talk show I was on, Neon had asked me that question, and I was like, oh, it's this one, and then I went, also this one, and this one, and I wound
Yeah.
up listing like 10 movies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
I have the same
to-
problem.
to be more concise, I will say Stalker by Tarkovsky. I would say Train Spotting by Danny Boyle.
Oh yeah.
I would say Time of the Gypsies by Imor Kusarika. And geez, if I had to put one more, I don't know. See, I'm about to do that thing I did in the other one where I was gonna be like, oh, this could be
You're like,
anything.
"Oh,
It could
hang
be, Repo Man, White Dog, Before Trilogy, Safety Last. Like,
Airplane.
fuck yeah, Airplane's great. Leslie Nielsen
is.
Leslie Nielsen is hey everybody, welcome to the Leslie Nielsen cast. He's I rank him up there with like Buster Keaton and like Harold
Yes.
Lloyd and like the best of like silent physical comedies. He's there. Rowan Atkinson is too. Like
Yeah.
I think they're genius. I like physical comedy like a lot.
Oh.
Like Give me less dialogue and more like people getting like hit with things, and I'll lose my shit.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Oh boy,
Goodness.
but yeah, it's tough. That's sort of the thing with me is that like I just kind of like all movies, and a big
Yeah.
part of that is it's a side effect of having like worked on them, so that I wind up being much softer on them. So like I'll look at a movie that people are pretty hard on, and I'll be like, oh, but look at that dolly shot, or man, look at that set design. That's really
Mm.
really good, and those people work their ass off to do that, and like all yeah, it's sort of the approach I come at with it, and so it's such a chore for me to like list movies that I like hate. Like it's really really difficult.
Yeah.
Like my
I only
shelf of
have
Blu-rays
one.
is all over the place. Oh, what's yours?
Shrek the Third is the one that I actually hate.
Oh no, oh, that's a shame. And that's too bad too, because Shrek the Third feels like I'm like on like a glue-induced fever dream. Like I feel like nothing
what?
is real. I'm like, what are they doing in high school now?
uh, that's fair. I
I
think
don't know.
there's only been one film I've ever walked out in the cinema of. I think, yeah, The Wolf Man. Um, I think we watched it for someone's birthday, and it was really good until they showed the wolf, and it took away so much of the magic, and it was like, oh, now it's just not the same.
Which like was it like a more recent like version of
No,
it?
I
Because I
was
assume you're not talking about like the original like 1940s like
no,
Wolfman.
no. Wolf Man. Um, might have been this one. I think 2010. It might have been that one.
Okay, all right, I'll be sure to watch it.
So I know I was quite a bit younger than I am now.
What? So you walked out because of the showing the wolf?
We no, we like after that point, things just I don't know, like the magic of the because it came off at first as kind of like a not quite horror, but quite a dark film because you would just see glimpses of it like running past and then
Yeah,
hear like
I
people
love that shit.
screaming, and it's like wow, that's really like cool. Um, but then like I don't know, it just like it was. I think it was for a friend's birthday as well. And we all just sort of looked at each other and agreed that none of us were really like even watching the film at that point. We were just we're like, we don't want to mess it up for the people who are also in here. So
See, I've never walked out of a screening. However, I have
Mm.
multiple times in my life been the person who sits in the theater watching people walk out, and that I
Yes.
remember seeing. I don't know if you guys know the movie The Neon Demon by Nicholas Winding Refn,
No.
but so it's like a really like artsy horror film, and Refn
Okay.
is he's a Danish filmmaker, colorblind, so his movies use like extreme neon so he can see.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, he's extremely talented. He's one of my favorite filmmakers, but his movies are definitely, with the exception of maybe Drive, like his movies are definitely like something that is a bit of an acquired taste and something you kind of
Yeah,
have
I
to
know
get used
Drive.
to. But yeah, it's a Drive with Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
And it's probably his most accessible one, but it is really
Mhm.
good. But I remember, so the Neon Demon is like insane, but in a great way. I love it. It was like on my top 10 that year. But we didn't see it in an art house theater surrounded by people that like
They
love
were
these kinds of
into
movies.
yeah.
Yeah, we saw it in like a podunk town, where where the Christianity like runs real deep. So
uh,
when you watch a movie about the fashion industry with by an extremely insane Danish filmmaker, um it's a real nightmare. So we were sitting there and I was loving it. I was having a great time. But then of course when the necrophilia scene comes up, half the theater hasn't
ah.
exited.
Hmm.
And the whole time I'm sitting there like, man, this movie's fucking awesome. But oh boy, it's that was a trip.
No.
So I know what it's like to watch people walk out, and to be fair, if I was like them, I would have too. But I'm unfortunately not.
You like to stick it around and see all of it in its
Yeah,
glory.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's phenomenal. Would I suggest it to people? Probably not, but I think it's great.
Yeah, they're like nowadays. There's not many films I don't enjoy, and I'll at least find something in a film. I'm like, okay, I like that thing. Maybe not the whole stuff, but at least that. But because years ago, it's been a long time since I have done any properly. Well, I guess this might include it, but I used to do a lot of, like, acting. So
Oh yeah.
I looked at it from like the acting point. So I realized now looking back, I got quite snobby. And now after and once I stopped doing it, I just started to fall in love with people like Nick Cage, and I was like, now I understand
Oh yeah.
the beauty of Nick Cage's acting.
Not many
You look for
people.
the insanity of it.
Yeah, not many people can be like an Academy Award winner, mafia connected, a living meme, and like just an all around all right guy like Nicolas Cage. And that man is quite literally a national treasure.
He-
Um,
there you go. And to be fair, like he does. I respect that he will like take on small films too. Like if someone brings him a script and says, "Are you interested enough?" He'll say yeah. And
oh
they
my
don't.
god.
They're not always, the greatest thing
I
alive.
know which example
They're
you're
fun.
gonna bring.
Oh, what example are you
Willy's
thinking?
Wonderland.
Oh no, I was thinking 211. I think it's called. It's
I think I know which one you're talking about. Like
it's
I
a bank robbery thing. I
yeah.
think he plays a policeman, and
Yes, I know what you're
it
talking about. Yeah, that
but
movie's batshit
I
insane.
yeah, I really enjoyed the film. But there's a lot of people I'm like, I don't know if I can recommend it to you because I don't know how much you're willing to like just put your brain aside and just enjoy something.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like I guess a couple touches on that. I mean, first things first. Like, so me, Vix, and I have actually met Nicolas Cage, and he is as like
Oh,
larger. He is as large and in life as you might think. I
that's
mean, the guy
sweet.
just wanted to talk about like magic rocks and acting, and called
Oh,
out to his
that's
son in the audience.
wonderful.
But he is no, he's really great, and something that like people should always know. My mentor used to say, with a movie that is predictable or one that might not be the most like I'm trying to think of the right saying here. Like when with a movie that's predictable or like maybe not like great or not very deep, it's like a roller coaster where you can look up at a roller coaster when you're waiting in line and you can see the whole thing. You see all the twists and turns, you see where it goes, but at the end of the day, it doesn't make it any less fun to ride.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about most movies. It's like I love the like I can watch, something like super artsy and like really life
Mhm.
affirming and like stunning, or I could also watch Bad Lieutenant starring Nicolas Cage and believe that
Yeah, yeah.
it's fucking genius, or like Mandy and
Oh
believe
my, I
that
love Mandy.
I'm insane
That's
about Mandy. It's
oh.
really, really good. He's brilliant. Yeah. Like
And
I could talk about Nick Cage for this whole
yeah,
podcast.
Color Out of Space was another one that I
Yeah,
thought
same here.
I thought he was actually like incredibly good in that
It,
film.
it
Like,
fucking rules. Color Out of Space is
yeah,
so, so good.
it probably also helped that he's a huge Lovecraft fan. So he was all in on anything, you know, kind of out there, and
Yeah.
that's a very out there.
Spectre Vision is one of like my favorite studios working right now because believe it or not, the
Mhm.
same company that produced Color Out of Space and Mandy, yeah, is Spectre Vision, and it's a company that's run by famous for Lord of the Rings, Elijah Wood.
Oh,
Really?
And and if you follow his Twitter, he loves like weird like horror and like cosmic stuff, and
That's
like
wonderful.
he clearly likes Nicolas Cage as well. But yeah, it's one of my favorite studios working today. Like people are always talking about what they want like A24 to release. I'm like, holy shit, man, when's the next Spectre Vision movie?
Ah, that's awesome. I had never put together that it's even the same people. I don't really like directors. I'll like sometimes put together the same people, but I just tend to like I'll see a film. I go, oh, okay, I'll watch that. Sure, why not?
Yeah, well, and that's what's great. You never have to. I think I mentioned this on Neon Stream too, but it's like there will never ever, at least to me, be anything wrong with like, somebody who just wants to go out to the cinema just to watch like something just real insane, something with a lot of explosions, a lot of action, just to like escape from like their life for like
Oh
a
yeah.
minute, just to be like transported somewhere else, like while you're in the theater. Just that fun escapism, and then when you walk out, be like, all right, back to my life. And there will never ever be anything wrong with that. And I always feel like I should preface that because I always talk about how much I love like really artsy like foreign films, but there will never ever be anything wrong with like somebody who just
Yeah.
wants to like catch like the newest Marvel movie because hey, you went out to the theaters, it's supporting cinema,
Yeah.
and a lot of those movies are real good. So
Yeah,
I
they do
love
a
it.
great job.
Mhm.
With them.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Oops. Sorry. Threw something off my desk.
Oh, hopefully nothing important.
No, just some Pokemon.
Nah, just this
cards.
controller again.
Oh no. Not this time.
Not this time.
But do you have any more questions there, Oroka?
Give me a sec. Yeah, what's your favorite director?
Ooh.
So it used to be my favorite director. I would say my favorite living director was Seijun Suzuki, who did he did a lot of like 60s, 70s. I guess a little bit of background. Um, in the 60s and 70s in Japan, where America was making westerns like daily,
Mm-hmm.
Japan
Mhm.
was making yakuza films,
Oh.
and you really had to look because it was such an oversaturated market. You really had to look at filmmakers that were doing interesting things with that genre.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Sergio Leone stepped out so much because like he tried to go for grand extravagance over just like, hey, let's have some guys shoot at each other. That'll be cool. And Suzuki was making Yakuza films like in his own way because he wanted to stand out. There's a lot of pop art, a lot of color, a lot of style, and he became famous to me for being somebody who would take ideas that shouldn't work and would fill it with so much of himself that it would suddenly become magic. And that was a huge inspiration to me. But unfortunately, he actually passed away a few years ago, like very recently.
Oh.
Oh.
And oh yeah, I remember the Academy Awards and they're doing the in memoriam, and when they actually recognized him, I remember I cried. But
Oh.
so now my favorite, because like my favorite filmmaker will always be Andrei Tarkovsky, just because of his like poeticism, his focusedness, but also at the same time never skimping on excitement and fun. Like his movies are just as much like deep and methodical as they are exciting and fun. So
Mm.
I love his movies a lot, but now in terms of living filmmakers, I don't know. That's difficult. I like Celine Sciamma a lot. She did like Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I don't know how many people know these movies. I'm saying these people. But I realized I'm now just like word vomiting
Oh,
filmmakers I
that's all
like.
good.
But no, that's tough. I like Paul Thomas Anderson a lot. You know, he did like Boogie Nights, Inherent Vice,
Mm.
The Master, There Will Be Blood. Um, I don't know. I guess since Suzuki died, I've been kind of like wandering without like a
Yeah.
living filmmaker I'm obsessed with. So I just have like a whole batch.
Yeah, 'cause I know there was one you mentioned on one of your streams. And I can't. I think you did like a whole thing dedicated to their
Oh yeah, I did a
films.
whole thing for the Coen brothers.
That's it. The Coen brothers. That was the one.
I
So I
love
was
the
wondering
Coens,
exactly.
and like they're like I love like Inside Llewyn Davis, Blood Simple, and like Raising
Mhm.
Arizona, well, and Miller's Crossing as well are like huge inspirations to me. Inside Llewyn Davis is like maybe because most of my favorite films from like my top 10 of all time are like from like 19 like 70s and earlier,
Yeah.
but Llewyn Davis is from 2013, and that's like the
Oh.
one like a black sheep that like stands out there and like my favorite of all time. But yeah, I thought to myself I wanted to start doing live video essays. Like I wanted to write like a
Mm.
script or write a setup and recite it live, or like do it almost like a TED talk or something, or like
Oh.
a like an educational thing. And I figured the Coens were a good jumping in point because not only do I have a lot to say about them, and there's a lot to like learn from them.
Mhm.
But a lot of people have seen their movies. Like a lot of people have seen like Oh Brother Where Art Thou and Fargo and The Big Lebowski
Oh yeah.
and
Mhm.
like No Country for Old Men and yeah, so it was super easy to talk about, and I love it. I don't know who I'll talk about next, but I love the Coens a lot.
Oh, there you go. Do you have a favorite one, Oroka? 'Cause I don't think we
Yeah,
do.
I do. My
Go on.
favorite director's probably Edgar Wright.
Oh
I
yeah, Wright's
love
great. I
his.
met him too.
Oh, really?
Oh, oh, I'm jealous
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
it was an amazing evening. No, but I want to hear you talk about Edgar Wright for a moment though.
Uh, well, the Cornetto trilogy, like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End, are some of my favorite movies of all time. And Scott Pilgrim versus the World, of course. Those are such great movies. But just his the editing and the jokes and just the action. Still, I rewatch like Hot Fuzz daily because it's such a good movie.
Yeah, the greater good.
Yeah, the
Um,
greater good.
Paul Matchless is like Edgar Wright's like go-to editor, and Matchless is brilliant. Like he's a genius editor, and he's been with Edgar Wright since Spaced. I don't know if you guys know
Oh
that
yeah,
show.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, well, and Spaced up to Baby Driver. I don't think he returned for Last Night in Soho though, but
I'm
I'm
really excited for
sure.
that one.
Same here. Oh my God, we're getting blessed that day. Like same day in cinemas. At least in America, we're getting
Mm.
Last Night in Soho, Wes Anderson's new movie, Jackass 4, all like on the same
Oh
day.
my.
Halloween, I think, is coming out on that same one too.
Oh,
I'm so fucking excited
Quite
for
a
that day.
mix.
But no, so Edgar Wright, I've gotten to sit in conversation with him twice, where it was once during Baby Driver's theatrical run in LA, where he was visiting and doing Q&As with Scott Aukerman from Comedy Bang Bang,
mhm.
Okay.
and that was really fun. The really great event with him though was at Beyond Fest, which is like essentially like Sundance or like Cannes, but for like genre films.
Okay.
Um, they were doing like a special event for Baby Driver and Walter Hill's The Driver, where after watching Baby Driver, they did a like little segment in the middle where they just talked about car movies. Like so, him and Walter Hill. Walter Hill is probably most famous for people. He did like The Warriors.
Oh,
He
Mhm.
okay. Yes.
I don't know what else people would know Walter Hill for. But he's a really prolific like action filmmaker, and just getting to sit with them for like an hour and just to like talk about car movies was like heaven. And no, Edgar Wright's been like a big part of my life for a while too. Like when I was in high
Mm.
school, I would probably say he was my favorite living filmmaker. Like I had a Gary King and the Enablers band shirt.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
and yeah, actually, I dressed as Gary King for Halloween as well when I was in high school. I had the Do Not Disturb bathroom sign too, like around my neck.
Mm.
And
Oh. What?
no, because I am the crazy guy that has the hot take that I think The World's End is like his best movie. But
Yeah, I do think so.
I love it. It's easily his most mature, and it has like the most going on in its head, while never sacrificing Wright's like excitement and fun and fluidity. And because like all 1 minute feel heartbroken over like Nick Frost like pulling down Simon's like sleeves and seeing like the cast
Mhm.
on him and screaming, "Why do you want to finish the Golden Mile? Because it's all I got." And while at the same time like crying, laughing over Nick like acting so drunk that like he turns around too hard to the door and his arm goes through like the window.
uh, just
Yeah.
some lovely little moments that add to it more than maybe they even can think at the time.
I love it. God, Van, did you say your favorite filmmaker?
No, mine current one is Makoto Shinkai.
Oh fuck
And
yeah, yeah. Weathering with You's great. Your
oh,
Name and
I went and
Dark
saw that with my
Stars.
dad in the cinema because he like I was gonna see it. I can't think who with. And then they were like, I don't know. So I just said, like, my dad's kind of interested in anime, so I was like, come on, just come see what you think from
Pretty
like
good
a
jumping
director
in
that I
way.
love. And
Yeah.
he enjoyed it. I was like, okay, brilliant. I can now show him the other
Got another
ones.
one.
But
Converted.
I've been watching his I think the first one I saw of his was 30 centimeters per second, which I think is also one of his earlier ones.
I actually don't think I've seen that
Um,
one. Admittedly, I haven't seen all of
uh,
Makoto Shinkai, but I've seen
yeah,
like the big ones.
yeah, and like it just. I think one thing I love about him is his first few films were him and his wife. That those were all the people he had on production. They were just him and his wife doing the films, and then got recognized, and then Your Name came out, and now
Mhm.
he's people know the name properly. Like
Oh
Garden of
yeah,
Words, that's my favorite of his, but
I've seen that one. I
Your
love Garden
Name
of Words.
is but like for me, it's the visuals in his. Not some like I love the stories, but it's the visuals for me that blow me away every time.
Yeah, he does a great job of making like the mundane come off as very dreamlike.
Oh yeah, it's uh, it, every one of them has different special place. And yes, maybe that'll switch again some point, but for the moment, it's him.
He's a great pick. I was very lucky that my partner Vix was actually the one that got me finally pushed to go see Your Name, because it was something I was aware of, and but it was something like either I just had a lot of other stuff to see and I had a lot going on, but Vix was really like, no, we have to see this, and I'm so happy that they pushed me because I loved it a lot. And
Yeah.
this was going off all I knew was Garden of Words, and
Mhm.
yeah, then years later we were there in theaters like opening day for Weathering with You, and
Oh
yeah,
man.
I like the guy's work. I'm learning more about him retroactively.
Mm. Yeah. I think as well, if I remember correctly, Your Name was the first film, and I can't even think how long that finally beat out Spirited Away as the highest grossing anime film.
Was yeah.
Yeah, Spirited Away had been sat there for so long, and then I think it was a My Hero Academia film that
No,
came
the
out
Demon Slayer
years
movie.
ago that
It
then
was
knocked
Demon
that one
Slayer
out.
beat it.
Yeah.
I was a Demon Slayer that kicked that one off.
Demon Slayer has the current winner. It's the current record holder. Yeah, yeah. Which actually I feel bad that I didn't get to see that in theaters, but I watched it on
Yeah,
Funimation. It was a lot of fun. I don't know. I
yeah.
got into Demon Slayer like literally only like a month ago, and I haven't seen a whole lot of anime, which that's something that's kind of funny coming from somebody who's literally an anime movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the same here. I haven't seen a lot of anime, but it was
I
fun.
have. So
Yeah.
Awesome. I want to do like a stream on my side where I just get like a bunch of like hardcore anime fans to like talk about it, and because like
yeah,
I'm watching like Full Metal Alchemist for the first time right now.
that's
And
one I've for like 10 years been trying to finish because every time I start it, something comes up.
oh no.
It's like the cursed show for me. And every
That's funny
time I've
considering
left
what
it,
the
and I'm
show's
like,
about.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, I need to start it again because I've forgotten all this stuff.
There's a lot
So,
of like lore that unravels in that show, and
oh yeah,
I'm happy to. Well, we're almost done. I don't know. I think Vix is busy. I was gonna ask like how much Full Metal Alchemist we have left, but because I think we're only like 10 episodes
oh,
left
okay.
and we're done. But yeah, because like for the longest time, my favorite anime was Trigun. Well, it still is, but
Mm.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
good
a
choice.
huge Trigun fan, and pretty much anything
Yeah.
by like Trigger. Like I'm a
Hmm.
big. I know it's more Gynax, but I am a big like fan of like
Yeah.
Panty and Stalking and stuff.
Oh,
Mhm.
Penny Stocking's quite a. It's one of those shows that if I mention it to someone, they'll give me a weird look.
Yeah,
But if I know
that's
they're
how
into anime, then I'll be like, okay, it's a comedy. Watch it, see what you think. I'll leave it to you.
every time I have to like explain to people why I like it, and I know that feeling because that happens every time I go. Spring Breakers is one of the best movies of the last decade.
Okay.
Um, but so I totally see that. But yeah, with Panty and Stalking, I just go like because they'll like look at me funny for the title, and I'll just go, okay,
Yeah.
just watch this, and either I'll put on the episode where the entire episode is just like it's done in a different animation style. It's really dreary. It's about a
Oh,
guy who like hates his job and like just wants to like provide for his family and really loves his daughter. And it's like really grim and sad. And then like a monster comes in and threatens to take away his life. And then suddenly at the end, these two like goofy like cartoon characters, the main characters of the rest of the show up at the very end, save the
Yeah.
day. We'll just walk up to him and just go, "Hey, what's up?" Like I love that,
I
and I
love the
love
claymation that they have for
yeah.
blowing up the monsters.
That was the other thing I was gonna say. I would show people that, and I would go, look, it changes animation style like every other frame, and I'm like, this show is like an animator's dream. Like, I love watching it.
Like the one show for me that I've tried to, for people who are like, if they like romance things or something, softer stuff, I try and suggest to them. Trying to work around the name of it is a bit of a worry because it's like the name of it put people off, like the English name, because the English name of it is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, which just makes it sound like it's gonna be like,
Fan service.
Yeah, and she wears the bunny girl outfit in the first episode and like never again. So
great
and it's
bait and
for a
switch.
purpose. So so it's like, oh come on, could you not given it better name just so I can suggest this to people and they don't get turned away by the name?
Is the original Japanese title just like a real mouthful?
I don't know. It's a light novel, so it is probably quite a mouthful. I think the translation of the light novel is the same name, but I just wish the translation. I don't know if it's like actually what, if it was directly translated, would come across as, but I don't know. They I feel like they hit themselves in the foot by not giving it a more appealing name.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I want to watch. Because really, like beginning to end, because I've like jumped in on like multiple different anime series, but beginning to end, like starting and finishing an anime, I've probably only finished like 4 in my life. So I need to do I don't know. Like I've been curious to try like Wonder Egg Priority.
Yeah, I need to get around to that one.
I don't know, because I mean, like I said, I'm watching Demon Slayer right now. Well, caught up, but yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. Do you have any suggestions, either of you guys?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Keep Your Hands Off of Ace-Ken.
Oh yes, actually, that's right. I'm about halfway through that. That's right. 'Cause
That's
I'm
so
a huge
good.
Masaki Yuasa fan.
My suggestion because it is also quite artsy is Great Pretender.
That one I don't know.
It's about con men, or confidence men as they call themselves. It's
Pretty good.
and the dub is like, I think one of the more like genius dubs because they switch languages like constantly depending on where they are. But it is a bit confusing when they start in Japanese and I'm thinking, well, I've put on the dub, what's going on? But it is like they use a lot of painted like watercolor backgrounds. They use some 3D that's actually like integrated nicely. But also the story, if you like stories that just keep you guessing, it just constantly, you might think you know what's going on and you're like, no, I had no clue. Okay. And there's no way. It's one that I struggle to talk about though because it's so hard to say anything without spoiling something.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I think it was 2020 it came out, maybe 2019. So
Would it be
pretty
on
new?
Crunchyroll or Funimation?
I would assume so. I totally watched it on one of those websites and not some website.
Oh boy, I can find it though. That sounds really fun.
Yeah,
that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, there we go. Hello, Jelly.
Yeah, and thanks for the follow, Gilded Siren.
Oh.
But yeah, another one that I would really recommend, but people always look weird at me when I say that it's my favorite anime probably of all time is Beastars. Because hey,
I've heard of that one. I haven't seen it though.
But yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I know a lot of people just pass it off as the furry anime, but
yeah,
But as a long-time anime fan, I'm like, excuse me, have you seen other? Here's a long list of things that are far more so, like pushing towards that area.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that furry concepts are not a new thing to anime.
No.
But it's funny how Beastars became like the poster child for furry
Yeah.
anime.
Yeah, I think it also helps that. Well, it's showing also how like Demon Slayer is now like the highest grossing one. How much anime has grew in the West to now such a large audience, which has kind of been good and bad. Like I'm glad other people are now fans of something I love, but at the same time, it was kind of nice to be able to go into the community, still have people who are like judging each other, but not trying to cause problems and making things too serious when they're just just sit down and enjoy. It's okay.
There's a lot of like gatekeeping in like the anime community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gatekeeping before was just, did you like this anime? You didn't? What are you doing here? I don't want to talk to you. Or like naming off different anime that if you haven't seen, you can sit with us. And if you actually ask them what a show was about, doesn't mean they've actually seen the show. A lot of the time it's just say you've seen it so you can sit with those people.
Yeah, just play it off like your taste is better than it actually is.
Exactly.
But
Like,
but why
luckily, I'd
pander to those
seen most
people?
of it. I don't know. I mostly sit on the outside of most fandoms, just sort of taking in like the nice parts.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, I'm the only movie franchise that I truly really like, or like really
Mhm.
love just me is Star Wars. So trust me, I get it. Like one of my
Okay, yeah.
go-to reaction images is the photo of it's Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec sitting outside a sign that just says, "Now entering Star Wars Twitter. Good luck with that."
Yes. That I think that was one thing that made me sad when The Hobbit came out is that like that I have some grievances with it still, but I still like every time I've watched it, I've enjoyed it more. But
I like them
like
too.
people like tore that apart. I felt so bad for Peter Jackson
Well, yeah, well, because I can't even
and everybody
imagine,
else who worked on it as well. But
well, yeah, like when you go from like the Lord of the Rings fandom being like pretty self-assured, being like, yeah, we have three great Academy Award-winning movies. Everything's great. We're good. Oh man, look at those Star Wars guys doing the prequels. Ha, isn't that funny? Man, it would really suck if we had three movies that divided the fan base as prequels too. And then it happened, and much like exactly like the prequels, it's like was divided down the line where it was like you
yeah,
have people that are like crazy about him and diehard fans, and then people that like completely turned against them, which is a real shame because it introduced discourse to the Lord of the Rings community, which is a
yeah.
shame.
And if I remember correctly, Peter Jackson wasn't the original director for them, right?
No, it's gonna be Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, so like, because I know Peter Jackson added in the third film because he wanted his film, and I think the third Hobbit film is the strongest one.
It's probably the most focused. Yeah.
Yeah, it really like that. I guess in the best way, it is the most Peter Jackson of the films.
It definitely kind of made me feel like in a few scenes I was watching like something from the director of Dead Alive.
Yeah,
Or
but
Brain Dead.
yeah, like I think there was a lot of things that people complained about that now looking at it, I'm sure I probably complained about it too at the time, just joining in. but but now watching, I just think to myself, it's not, it might, even if it's something that's still not perfect. It's like it's not as bad as you're saying, though, is it? It's just because it's
No,
such a
there's
beloved thing that once, like you're saying, it split people. And
yeah.
became a war.
Yeah, which no fandom needs. It just pours
No.
gasoline on toxic positivity and toxic negativity. But
Yeah.
it can be a mess. But yeah, no, I like them. I think that the ideal version, yeah, of like the Hobbit that I wish we got was, yeah, just Peter Jackson all the way, and just like
Mhm.
2 movies, like the There and Back Again. And
Yeah.
because it's a shame, because I'll watch yeah, the Hobbit movies, and I'll go, wow, that is definitely a Guillermo del Toro idea, and I'll love it. And then there'll be moments that are definitely like Peter Jackson ideas, and I'll love them too. But I can't help but feel like it's two visions kind of clashing against each other in some
Yeah.
moments.
A little
But
disjointed.
yeah, which is a shame, because I would love it if it was one or the other, because I actually believe Del Toro could turn in a great vision
Oh
too.
yeah.
But yeah, but no, I mean, clearly Peter Jackson is extremely talented, and I would love to see his like solo like visions on it, or I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe he'll do the Samarillion one day. We'll
I'm
see.
hoping so. I'm hoping that the Tolkien family can sit down with him and say, okay, one more.
They gotta be like, hey, what are they gonna do? Like, Peter's gonna walk up to the front door and they're gonna be like, get him the fuck out of here. He hasn't done anything for us.
You not brought sci-fi to a whole nother level. With visuals that
Boy.
somehow still hold up.
Oh god, no, I like the Lord of the Rings. That was probably the most
I
insane movie marathon I've ever done. It was me, Vix, and my father did it was an all day marathon of the director's cuts of the Lord of the
yeah.
Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
And it was a very, very, very long day, but it was fulfilling, because you really do, that exhaustion sets in, like, of how long you've been watching it, around the time when Frodo and Sam are just breaking down climbing up the mountain, so like it feels like you're there
Breaking
with
down
them.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool in an exhausting way, but I love it.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I think it was late last year I did another marathon of it because I had some stuff happen and I thought, Lord of the Rings always makes me feel good. I'm gonna watch them, and then I realized I had like just kept putting them on and I hadn't stopped. I was like, well, I guess I'm marathoning now. No point in stopping. Ah,
Fun. Yeah, and like, yeah, it's I love Star Wars a lot, just because they're
mhm.
like the last movie franchise that still shoots on film and still shoots on like practical sets, and chooses
Oh.
like makeup and stuff over CGI. Because like, yeah, like, look, sequels have flaws, but
Mhm.
like, hate to admit it to people that don't like the Star Wars sequels, Rise of Skywalker was the only blockbuster that year that was shot on 70 millimeter film and actually went out on location and had like long
Really?
takes and cinematography and stuff. Like, I hate to
Oh
break
my
it to you, but
god.
they're actually like keeping like film alive, and I love that stuff. And I like Marvel and
Yeah.
stuff too. I've keep
Mhm.
band knows I keep talking about doing like an event where I just talk about like Marvel movies with a
Mm.
rotating group of VTubers for like a week straight.
That
Hell yeah.
sounds like fun.
I want to do it. Yeah,
Be,
like
be
I'll probably
great.
do it at the end of this month, honestly. Like, I think I will.
Yeah. Oh man. Let's see. But I guess I've got a question since something that me and Oroka are into. What if you do uh dabble in the video games?
Mm, yeah.
Is there a particular game or genre that you're quite fond of?
So when it comes to video games, and I do like video games, I just
Yeah.
play them super casually. Like,
Mhm.
I'm playing like Guilty Gear right now, but I'd probably never
Mm.
be like, oh yeah, square up, let's play some Guilty Gear against each other. I can destroy you. Like, no, I can do like a 10 hit combo with Kai, and I'm like, that's as good as it's gonna get.
It's good as
But
you need to be.
basically, yeah. But like, when it comes to games, my favorites are probably like Mother 2, like Earthbound. I know it's not a really original answer,
Yes.
but I love it a lot. Original Dead Rising is a game I'm fascinated
Hmm.
with.
Okay.
Like, I'm crazy about its creation, its legacy, and like how it was done. It's also like the only video game I feel like I can confidently say I can play blindfolded. Um,
That's pretty
and
good.
one day, so I've been saying that for years, and one day I'm gonna need to like put my money where my mouth is, and like
Oh
actually
yes.
like attempt that. But um, classic Mega Man, I love.
Mm.
Like I said, I love
Wait, the
fighting games. I
original
mean,
one
like
or Mega Man 2?
uh, uh, Mega Man 2, I would
Yeah.
probably say. And once again, I know not a super original answer, but I like it a lot. I actually still have my NES cartridge of it from when I was a kid. Um, yeah, I love it a lot. Then like fighting games, I love like Tatsunoko versus Capcom, and like of course like any Capcom versus. A little bit of SNK, but like admittedly again SNK versus Capcom. um, I yeah, they own me.
Yeah. No?
But yeah, that's tough because I definitely want to break more into video games on my streams. Like I was actually talking with Vix about this last night, where I was just thinking, okay, I'll do like a John Woo like Chinese action film week where I'll do like great old like Jackie Chan movies. I'll
Oh
do
yes.
like Hard Boiled and all these. But then like in between, I'll have one day where I play like Stranglehold or Sleeping Dogs or like Revenge and
Or
like
Sleeping
games that are
Dogs.
throwbacks to that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sleeping Dogs is one of my favorite games of all time. I'm
I love it.
a martial arts nerd, so that tickles all of that.
And see, I'm a huge like Chinese like action film like 80s like action film
Yeah.
like obsessive. So Sleeping Dogs is just like a bold-faced throwback, like playable version of a movie like
Mhm.
that, and I love it. Like you can tell they're so inspired by that stuff.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's
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 got
so
all the
good.
drama, all the all the kind of ridiculous fighting.
It's so
If
over
you
the
really
top.
think about it,
Everything
like
explodes.
that doesn't make sense.
But I love it. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's great. Like
But
all I could totally see myself doing that one day.
like even if you look at how like the enemies appear, how they just sort of appear out of nowhere and gather around you in a group, that is straight up Chinese martial arts films.
They like
They wait
circle
around
around
in a
you,
circle. Yeah.
fight one at a time. Yeah, I love it. It's brilliant. And yeah, I definitely want to do that. Like I'll definitely do like a week where I just talk about like Akira Kurosawa and samurai films, and then I'll play like the black and white mode in Ghost of Tsushima
There's
or
yeah,
I
there's
don't
like
know.
the like samurai game coming out that they showed at E3. I only watched parts of E3 because for the most part, I don't get games as they come out, mostly due to funds. But
Understandable.
I also just enjoyed replaying stuff and I'm terrible
Hmm.
for it. But it's in black and white. It's like 2D, so it's like from the side, but
Hmm.
it looked beautiful because it just had the visuals of old samurai films. I
I don't
thought,
know that
oh,
one.
I can't think what it's called though. Once it went past, my brain said, yeah, but I'm not gonna remember the name, just how it looked.
If you find it, let me
Oh,
know. I would love to know that.
yeah. Oh,
But yeah, I definitely need to play more video games. Like video games to me
mm,
now are like I used to be crazy into them. Like in high school, I wanted to like
okay.
play every single indie game I possibly could. But
Hmm. Yeah.
now I have like a PC and a Switch, so you would think I'm like playing indie games all the time. But now I'm just like I don't know. Right now I'm just playing. Hey, I'm in bed on my Switch and I'm playing Tony Hawk or Binding of
Oh,
Isaac and Pokemon
nice.
Snap. So I'm not
All right.
not playing a whole lot.
Most of my gaming is Pokemon.
Yeah.
I've been on Pokemon since the beginning, and I struggle to put it down. I can play other things, and then in my mind, I just say, "Yeah, but I feel like Pokemon."
What's your favorite generation?
Generation 5.
Is that black and white?
That's- Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because I'm the guy that plays like every third generation. Like I miss out on a few, and then I jump in because like I'll miss like I played Diamond and Pearl, but I missed black
Yeah.
like black and white 1 and 2, and then like some of those remakes. But then I played X and Y, and then I missed like a bunch
Yeah.
after that, and then I played Sword and Shield. So I
I
do want to play
yeah.
the Diamond and Pearl remake though.
Yeah. I'm still unsure what I think about it visually, but I'm gonna play it.
You don't sound like you're alone on that. Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like a lot of people are
But
kind of juggling with it, but too big of a dumb fan of Diamond and Pearl. I was gonna play it anyway.
Yeah, like, I'm just a dumb fan of Pokemon. So when I got Sword and Shield, I was like, look, I know you guys were all saying bad things, but I'm just gonna play it and see what I think. And it's the most fun I've had with Pokemon
I
for
love it.
a long
Yeah.
while.
Oh yeah, like you have a camp that's complaining, oh, it doesn't have all the Pokemon who weren't even gonna catch them all anyway, and then like so you have everybody complaining there, and then
Mm.
I'm just over here like making curry for my Pokemon, and I'm like I'm so fucking happy right now.
I always thought it was quite funny with the whole thing where there was people complaining about not all the Pokemon being in there because since I've been playing since the beginning, when the third generation came out, there was a whole section of Pokemon they just said, yeah, there's no way to get them anymore, and then they were forced to release the remakes because people were saying, well, we want those old Pokemon. So
who knows?
it's not a new thing that's never happened before, because I think it was Generation 3 where they took away the slogan "Gotta catch them all" because you couldn't. So it wouldn't be right to put it.
See, I totally get that, and I feel like I deal with that all the time. Like
Yeah.
same thing with like we were just talking about like Star Wars and stuff. Like I love when people go, "Oh, there wasn't a plan for the sequel trilogy," and I'm like, "You think fucking George Lucas had a plan for the original trilogy?" He's openly admitted he didn't. Like, but again, I see that happen with Pokemon a lot, and like,
Yeah.
do people? You seem more in tune with like the Pokemon community than I am. Do they are people really excited for that? Like Sinnoh region prequel game? Because I am.
The Arceus one, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that one, I know people are like all in on. Like,
I wanna play that
'cause it looks
super
like
bad.
something different, and like it could be this great thing that changes Pokemon forever. It could be terrible. I don't care. I'm gonna play it either way.
It could be like a glorified tech demo, like Let's
Yeah.
Go Pikachu was, but
Yeah,
but I
I'm
liked
doing
Let's Go
those ones,
Pikachu.
but yeah, there's ones. There's a few ones that I'm not big on, but I'll still play them if someone sat with me and they're like, "Do you want to go have a go?" I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And like I approach it very differently where it's like Pokemon to me is something where I just like sit down with Vix and I go, "Hey, look, I got the Pokeball Plus. Let's throw it at the TV." And I'm like, "This is awesome." Like this is gaming is peaked or
Yeah.
I'll bust out my N64 with Pokemon Coliseum or is it Stadium? Whatever
Stadium.
the
Yeah, Stadium.
Stadium. Oh
64.
yeah. So I'd sit down with Stadium and like just bring out the like what are they like conversion packs or the ones that
Oh,
allow you
yeah,
to
yeah,
like
yeah.
plug like your Game Boy game into the
Oh,
N64.
man.
I love those. Yeah, like I miss getting to do that a lot. Like we would just play on our Game Boys and then like meet up like after a while and be like, okay, let's port our Pokemon into the N64 and we'll trade or deal with them there.
We'll see who's better.
Yeah, and it would either be Vix would win and it would completely make sense, or I would win somehow and then Vix would say rematch. But it was really fun and I miss doing that. We got to get back into
Yeah.
Pokemon.
I think it's just like my mantra with games is like fully down thanks to Reggie. Not my body is ready, not that quote, but
What is that? If it's not fun, what's the point?
Why bother? Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Once I heard that, I was like, yeah, that's right. I've put down so many things that I've just tried to force myself to enjoy because other people do or something. And then once I put it down, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna play something I do like. Like I know people love the Souls games, but they just got me angry, and I don't like being angry. So I was like, okay,
Yeah, yeah. You shouldn't just play games for street cred. Like I think that, and that's something that like I've thankfully avoided a lot of by just immediately when becoming a VTuber being like, I am a movie focused VTuber. Games may show up, but I am not a gamer because then I have that built-in immunity. Because then if I ever go, you know what, I'm not doing anything today. Let's stream some Strive. Like I can just like be terrible at it and then just be like, hey, I mean, I'm a movie guy. This is not my thing.
I don't know if you've ever thought of this, but it would be a fun idea to do like video game movie type thing on your stream?
Like
Because
play
they're
like a
yeah.
movie-esque video game.
No, they're like horrible video or movie adaptations of
Oh.
video games.
Oh,
Like,
yes,
for
I've been talking
example,
about that
Street
for a
Fighter,
while.
Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to do that.
I mean, doing
yeah,
either way as well would be good. Like also playing some games based off movies.
Yeah,
because
that's what I
tend
want to
be
do.
pretty bad too.
Yeah, like I want to do like those like licensed games from like when we were kids that were just meant to
Yeah.
like make money
Yes.
off of whatever was releasing. Like get a like the Madagascar game on PS2. Or,
B movie on Xbox.
fuck yeah, like yeah, that's see, now you're thinking big brain.
There's still a joke around my house from, I think it was the original Toy Story game where like the soldiers would be hidden in different places, and the way you'd find them, they'd just be going, "I'm over here." So if we're looking for someone, and they're not like finding you, it's just known in our house to go, "I'm over here."
I would totally do that. Yeah, like we were laughing the other day because like for Vix's debut stream, we played the Grey's Anatomy game,
Yes.
and it was a great experience because you would think we would just like emulate it like or on like a Dolphin or something, but no, we actually like busted out a real Wii and we won a copy of the game in an auction, and like so what we were playing was an authentic
That's
Wii
amazing.
copy of it.
Get to be doctors for just a few hours.
I know, or just a few minutes in our case, because like
just-
doing surgery with a Wii remote isn't great.
No.
This is like doing like a lobotomy with a Kinect.
It also, yeah, it needed some time.
Yeah, I don't, do you guys ever go back to like those old like Xbox Kinect like reveal
Yeah.
videos and then see
Oh,
people are gonna use the Kinect for bomb defusal, and then like looking at how the Kinect went and being like, oh, thank God that didn't happen.
It's the most
Yeah.
famous, like most, I guess, like gaming and Connect, like company that made things look like they were going to be so much better was Lionhead Studios, because they were the ones that made Fable, and they
Yeah.
kept Fable. They always promised all these things and then would put none of them in. And then they were showing off. I think theirs was like this game where you could interact
one
with
with
a
the boy?
child, and
Yes,
you could,
yeah.
and
I'm
you
crazy
could-
about that thing.
and
Like,
it looked,
what was
like,
that?
incredible.
Well, it
and
was
then
like
it
the kid
just-
would recognize what they drew on a piece of paper.
Exactly, yeah. and then it just sort of pitted out, I guess, because they realized actually we can't do that.
Yeah. How the fuck are you gonna? You can't do that now. How are you gonna do that in the
No.
Xbox 360?
Though I will say, I think it's getting closer to that stage now through VR.
Yeah.
Yes,
Some
I
of the
love
stuff
VR.
people are able to do with VR is insane to me.
Oh my god. Well, 'cause
It's
that
incredible.
was what I originally did. Because so like I had mentioned, when I had like stepped out of filmmaking because of COVID,
Yeah.
and I was debating what I could do. One of the things I did for like about a month was I ran a channel where I was just going around VR chat and I was like interviewing people. Like
Okay.
yeah, so it was like similar to the show I did like I'm doing now as a VTuber, but I was just like talking to people in VR, and there were like some crazy ones. Like I remember there were but well and that's also the crazy thing. If you just go up to somebody in VR chat like instinctively and just ask them a
Yeah.
question, instinctively they will just answer because it's like anonymous. And
Yeah.
like I would just go up to a guy and just be like, "How's your day going?" And he like would spill into this huge like story about how he has a new job and he's afraid he doesn't want to move because his father and his pets are like his only friends and he doesn't want to abandon them. And it was all that from just asking a simple question. Or I'd ask somebody and they're like, I lost multiple layers of skin on my ear, and I'd be like, whoa, what happened? And they'd be like, it was a BDSM accident. And I'm like, okay, we need to talk.
Oh my god, that's incredible. But no,
Yeah.
that's straight, like, to think as well, because I've been playing that for like 3 years now. So there was the possibility.
Yeah,
I'm
with the
like, oh
most
god,
cursed screenshots.
I have a Sonic Vegeta outfit
Yes.
that I torture people with because they hate it, and I love it.
Oh my god. We gotta play sometime together then.
Oh hell yeah!
Be fun.
all
I
down.
walk around as Gibby from iCarly typically.
I just have like a set of things that my main one that I've met the majority of like long lasting friendships in is Winnie the Pooh. Just because
Aw.
it's one of the like it's something that a lot of people hold dear to their hearts, and I had learned to do the voice for it over time, and so I thought, since it's dear to people's hearts, mine included, why don't I just destroy that and tell them Piglet was delicious.
I was about to say I want to hear this impression.
The honey, give me the secret honey. Just, just really freak people out with it. It's like,
Harry's the voice.
no,
Oh god, the voice of Winnie the Pooh. There was a great story. It was on another podcast. It was
Yeah.
Rob Paulson's Talking Tunes podcast. Which,
Oh,
for those who
okay.
don't know, for those who don't know who Rob Paulson is, he's
Yeah.
probably most famous around these circles for voicing like Carl Weezer in Jimmy Neutron, and
yeah.
oh god, he's one of the Ninja Turtles. But he's a great
Yeah.
yeah, a great voice actor. But he would tell this story about how the original voice of Pooh, like the guy is like ancient, but he would mention that he would just look like this like frail old man, and then they would go to conventions, and then suddenly all he would do is just go, oh bother, and then suddenly like the whole room would like freak the fuck
Yeah.
out. Like people like love the guy.
Oh.
Like he would turn entire conventions.
Yeah. And then the current one, Jim Cummings, is a hero of mine. Like he is like the voice of all like so many things, especially in Disney. Like he's Ray in Princess and the Frog.
Ooh.
He's got all these different roles that sound quite different as well, and just think that's incredible. And he's a lovely man. Like he's known for going to children's hospitals and doing some of the voices for them. I just think that's the kind of person that I can hold as a hero to me. They seem nice enough.
Oh, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
But I'm sure you do know. But Mr. Mal Blanc, I suppose he's more Mr. Looney Tunes, or was when he was alive. He
Yes.
was like 100 odd voices in it, which is insane. Do you know the story of him in the coma?
I don't think so. What's the
Oh,
coma?
okay.
What's the
So,
the coma Mel Blanc story?
so I can't think if it was like a stroke or a car crash or something that he had, that he went into a coma and nothing was bringing him out. Like they had the family try and talk to him and there was no response. And it's one of the nurses just, as a fan of his and just on a whim, instead of saying, Mel, are you there? They said, Bugs, are you around? And he started in the coma speaking in the voices that they would call out to.
That's so
Because
cool.
to him, it was like, it was like a second life for him. So it was subconscious, just living out his thing, and it brought him around. So I think I saw a quote that he said, like Bugs Bunny saved his life.
I love hearing that shit.
Yeah, it's just one of them very strange things that makes the human condition very, very confusing.
I love that stuff. I love whenever those little stories come up. But I have a lot of respect for voice actors. I've only worked like in live action. I've never had the opportunity to work in animation or puppetry. Unfortunately, that was one of the big things I really wanted to do when I was working in film. So maybe when I eventually return. But yeah, I love. So now I'm trying to think of who like my favorite voice actors are, because like I'm a huge nut for like Phil Lamar,
Okay.
and oh, of course, who doesn't love like Tom Kenny? But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
Joe
that guy could do.
DiMaggio, I think's his name. The one who
Oh
does
yeah,
like
John DiMaggio.
John DiMaggio,
Yeah.
that's it. He's wonderful.
Yeah, it's always fun whenever I get to sit down with like my partner's little sister and like she'll be watching like Adventure Time and like Disenchantment and stuff, and I'll be like, did you know that John DiMaggio is Bender the King and Jake the dog? And like surprising her every time that comes up. Like there would be times where like a character is just in a random show she's watching, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
do you know who that is? And she's just like, that's not John DiMaggio again, is it? And I go, yeah, it is.
It's like my go-to one that I surprise people with is Emperor's New Groove. It's like, so everybody of course knows like Patrick Warburton's voice is
Oh, absolutely.
extremely recognizable, and like Cusco's voice when people like see the actor, that, oh, hang on,
Spade.
I recognize that. Yeah, Dave Spade, that's his name.
Mhm.
And then like you got John Goodman as well, who's like been in so many things, and he's got one of the most recognizable voices. But then there's one voice that I point out to people, and it's surprising every time, that the old man who at the start of the film throws off his groove is voiced by the person who does Piglet's voice. And it is very clear that it's Piglet's voice.
Yeah, it comes through that like squeakiness, that softness.
Yeah. Even has the stutter with it still.
I love
It's one of
that.
those ones that people get a bit taken aback from, and it's, you know, the world of voice acting, especially at that point, was very small and enclosed, so people did same people around so many things. It's opening a bit more now, and I guess nowadays as well, they're pulling in more celebrities and giving them. I think the most, I'm mostly fine with celebrities being given like a voice role, because it's something fun, and I'll never like take fun from someone. But Scoob, oh, that one
Oh yeah,
infuriated me.
I'm replacing the voice cast, like Matthew
Yeah.
Willard and everybody.
Like if they would have replaced the voice cast and at least told the voice cast that they were going to get other people, okay. But the fact that they snubbed them and didn't mention it to them, that was annoying.
Yeah, it's a real bummer. And like at the same time, like of course, like everybody who's been like the go-to cast, like Great Delisle and everyone, like of
Yeah.
course they're gonna keep working, because like no way you're gonna get
Mhm.
like Will Forte and like Zac Efron and everybody to keep returning for like every WWE crossover that Scooby Doo does. But um as amazing as that would be, but so of course like their jobs are fine. I mean, hell, they just released a new one with like the cast who's been doing it for years. But that being said, though, yeah, no, I it totally is a bummer. Like it reminds me of when um they were doing a sequel to the American Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, like the David Fincher one, and Rooney Mara.
Oh yeah.
And Rooney Mara was so dedicated to the original film, she actually got the tattoo. Like she actually has the like
She
dragon
got it?
tattoo on her body. She was dedicated
Oh,
to it.
that's
Yeah, she got an Academy Award
awesome.
nomination out of it. It's a great movie. So imagine how sad it was when the Sony like emails leaked, and
Yeah.
there was so many emails of they had plans to do a sequel but without her and without any of the original team, and just her emailing them, the studio, being like, hey, I'm free if you guys want me to do it. You know,
Oh,
I'm dedicated to it. And they didn't even like call her. And like what a bummer, like to have it actually
God.
tattooed on your body, and they just didn't even reach out to
That
you
would
for a
be like if
sequel.
they did like a that would be like if they did like a sequel to Forrest Gump and didn't get Tom Hanks. It just wouldn't be.
Get his son Colin.
Like if you're gonna replace something the main role, that's something you normally keep the same.
Yeah, it was a real
Oh,
bummer.
man.
And like it's one thing if like the movie didn't go very well, and maybe the performance didn't work, and
Yeah.
you wanted to like replace, but no, Rooney killed it. She did a really good job. So that's where the real bummer
I mean, it
comes
was
from.
Academy nominated, so obviously
Yeah,
it was recognized. But
great.
is actually saying about that, is there any that come to your mind as a celebrity that was not traditionally an actor that took on a role that really like blew you away and surprised you?
There has to be, absolutely. It's okay.
Yeah.
Somebody who's not really an actor. See, this is tough because like I could have easily just be like Bowie and Man Who Fell to Earth. Because like that was
Yeah.
back before he really started to get into acting. Because that was back in like the 80s. But um, I'm trying to think. Because I'm trying to think of like who are like singers and stuff or like personalities. I don't know. Because like as a guilty pleasure, I love like Elton John and like the Second Kingsman.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
trying to think. I don't know. Yeah, because like Bowie really did become an actor like after that. Like he really got into like Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, and then like years later there was like Labyrinth and even cameos and other things. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's tough. I don't know. What do you guys have answers?
I don't really
You know,
know.
when I asked it, I didn't think of the. I realized I hadn't thought of an answer. I was like, oh god.
I feel like all the ones that come to
Um,
mind, yeah, are like one-off like little performances and stuff, with the exception of like early Bowie stuff where he's like the main character. But
yeah.
yeah, it's like everybody else. Well, now I'm trying to think because I know there's been situations where it's like filmmakers like I love whenever David Lynch like stars in his own movies or in his own work, like when he plays like the FBI agent in
Yeah.
Twin Peaks. Um,
Yeah.
or
But
yeah, like his
Shyamalan puts himself in all of his films as just like a small
yeah.
role.
Yeah, and yeah, because that's difficult. Because I'm trying to think of like, um, I mean, David Lynch gives a great performance in the movie Lucky, which was like directed by actor Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah.
Oh, and like, because that's a movie where like Lynch doesn't direct at all. He just showed up because like he's really close with Harry Dean Stanton, and he just wanted to like act in it, and he does a really good job in it, and I was really
Mm.
impressed as it went along because you'd hope that I mean, okay, I was gonna say you'd hope that like somebody who directs actors would have like a decent idea to do it themselves, but then I think to myself, okay, well, I've only acted a couple times and I was shitty at it, but I'm a director, so I guess I can't practice what I preach.
That's fair. Yeah, because I think also the Russo brothers are known for putting themselves in
Hmm.
in little parts of
Yeah,
films, like
like bit
Endgame, they
parts
were
and
in
stuff.
the AA meeting or
Uh-huh.
whatever.
AA meeting. I like the idea. It was like a victims outreach. I like the idea of them being like,
Yeah.
"Oh, am I at the wrong meeting?" Captain America is doing
Just
AA.
one, just one person who sat there like, oh god, I'm in the wrong place. Just act natural.
I mean, what's his name? Russo, yeah, is telling the story about his husband, and like one guy's leaning over and being
Yeah.
like, "I'm here for my heroin addiction." What this has to do with anything?
Oh my god. Ah. Yeah, I now just like can't think of any performance, but there's so many of like people who weren't traditional actors who come in and done really well. I just now that I asked the question, every one of them have left my mind.
I'm like looking at my shelf right now, like trying to think. I don't know, like
Yeah,
Ice Cube and 21 Jump Street. I don't know. Uh,
I guess yeah, because he was rapper, and then that was sort of his. Was that his first sort of? No, because he didn't he
no,
do like a
he did like a
fairy thing or
bunch.
something?
He did like a bunch in like the early 2000s, and like
Yeah,
some in like the mid 90s, but like he's not somebody that's like known like for his acting, I would
yeah,
say,
yeah.
but I could be very wrong, because now actually you know what, now that I also think about it, Tom Waits is a really good actor.
Okay,
um
yeah.
yeah, as a singer. Like actually one of my one of my favorite performances of his was in was the short Coffee and Cigarettes, where he's acting opposite Iggy Pop. But
Oh, okay, yeah. And
uh
Iggy Pop is an enigma.
yeah, yeah, never has a shirt. But goddamn, the guy's a genius. Love Iggy
Oh,
Pop.
oh my god. Yeah, I mean, like, ones that sort of come to my head, even though they had done like bit parts before, they had done their work before they had jumped into big roles. Is like The Rock, who Yeah,
Sure,
he's
yeah.
the wrestler who just is now. I think if I'm remember, isn't he like the highest grossing actor now?
I think he
Or
is. I think
something?
he
Could be.
beat out because formerly it was Robert Downey Jr., but I think he did beat out
Yeah.
RDJ. Yeah.
And then on the other side, Dave Bautista, who was also a wrestler, who I think
Oh yeah.
was
I love Batista.
who is incredible in Guardians. Like
Yeah.
they
As
found the
Drax.
perfect role for him.
He's a funny guy. Yeah, and I know he
Yeah.
doesn't like how much because he's gone on record stating that like he feels like Drax is just used for like humor and doesn't have enough
Yeah.
development. But here's the thing:
Mhm.
I wish I could like tell the guy, but you don't understand, man. You're funny. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like you're really good at it, and like I see why they use Drax for like humor, but like Batista
Yeah.
just had fun working with Zack Snyder and Army of the Dead, so I'm sure he got it out of his system. But
Uh,
you know, I
what-
should ask while I'm
Oh, go
here.
ahead.
Oh, sorry, I'll let you ask first.
No, go ahead. Mine. I can keep it at the back because I've got a tab open for it.
No, well, I
It's
was gonna
okay.
ask because Ban, you mentioned that your favorite Marvel movie was Guardians 2, right?
Yeah.
Both of
Yeah.
ours.
Oh, both of you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, we were discussing it last time and realized both of us thought it was our favorite.
Okay, super sick because like yeah, like I said, I absolutely I'm think this month I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do like an
Yeah.
event over the course of either a week or 2 weeks where
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go down the line of like every single individual Marvel movie. And each movie I'm going to have like a different VTuber represent it. So like Iron Man, I'll pick somebody
Yeah.
and we'll just spend like an hour or two just talking about Iron Man. And then afterwards we'll swap them out, rotate in a new person, and then they'll represent like Incredible Hulk, whoever that poor person is. And then we'll then we'll talk about Incredible Hulk for like a few hours and rotate. And so yeah, so I want to pick like somebody to represent each one. And yes, I'm aware that I'm going to have just like an insane list of people just pouring in, being like, "Can I do Winter Soldier?" or like
The big
Civil
ones.
War. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I've mentioned before on stream and I'll mention it again here. Yeah, my favorite one and the one that I think is the best Marvel movie is Guardians 2.
Yeah.
It's so
And
funny.
many reasons why I feel that way. Mostly it's just yeah, it's the only one that really has like a villain that like super like ties back to its protagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because everybody else it's either like they've been out of their life for a long time and then they reconnect in some
Yeah.
way, or they have nothing to do with them and it's just complete circumstance. And so I love that. I love its focus of instead of setting up sequels and adding new characters for other movies, they spend more time just with the ones that they already have and trying to like
Yeah.
build off of what we have there. It's beautiful. It's
Mm.
got great techniques from like old grindhouse filmmaking meshed with like modern day CGI. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's very creative, and what places it above like the original is yeah, I feel like it's much more character focused, and I also like its soundtrack more. Like Guardians 2, every single song
Yeah.
Can't
pertains to the character or the
can't listen to
scene.
father and son without like tearing up now.
Yeah, it's crushing. Like, oh my god, like if I ever like become like a parent, I'm just going to like sob if I ever hear that song. And um yeah, no, not that I can typically technically. But I I love that one a lot, and I like most Marvel movies. Like I find them to be fun,
Yeah.
and
Same.
yeah, like I'm excited to go through that.
I think it's now like kind of a. Oh,
Sorry.
oh, I was just gonna say, I think it's now become like the kind of an in thing to complain about them.
Mm.
Yeah, well, it's because they're so famous, and because like I'm
Yeah,
not
exactly.
like crazy about them. Like I'm not like, oh my god, like this is like the cinema I need. But like if I ever see them, I have
Mhm.
fun. Like Thor Ragnarok was some of the
Yeah.
most fun I had in the
Yeah,
theater in
that's a great
2017.
one.
And yeah, and I loved Spider-Man Far From Home. I thought it was fun as hell.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So like they're it's like I mentioned earlier, they're ridiculously fun,
they're not like deep at all, but like however they don't
Yeah.
need to be. They just need to be a good time, and most of the time they absolutely are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely want to do that. So yeah, I guess I'll just formally ask you guys. Do you guys both want to be there for when we do Guardians 2?
Oh, I am all in.
Sure.
Cool. All right, good to know. All right, cool. We'll do that because really the only ones that I sort of have locked are. I want to do that. I'll do that with you guys. And then I'll do. I want to do WandaVision with my partner, with Vix.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think it'd be cute.
So
But
in the
they're looking at
shows
me right now.
even more.
But yeah, I do want to include the shows. Like I'll do like Loki and stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad those have like done really well because there's obviously a lot of heart put into them, and anytime people put that much heart into something, it's good to see it do well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I remember being really surprised by we finished like episode 1 of WandaVision, and I remember seeing it was directed by Matt Shackman, and I was like, what the fuck? And they just
Oh.
kind of looked at me, and I'm like, Matt Shackman is the guy that directed most of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I just love that they also did like a parody on the Malcolm in the Middle opening on one of the episodes as well.
Brilliant. We were losing our shit because we watched a ton of Malcolm in the Middle as kids. Or not even as kids, like for most of our life.
Yeah. But I was going to ask, since you're saying about traditional celebrities playing actors, instead, is there like a specific performance of specifically a actor playing a real life person that has like blown you away more than another? Because there's lots of people who played, different historical characters, but is there one that
Mhm.
comes to your mind
I
that really
think
like stands above the others?
yeah. So before I answer it, just as a little preface, a problem I have with like many biopics, namely, it's like
Mhm.
when the movie is paid for by the family of the person, or if the person's still alive, and like they're funding it. So often, what happens is the film about the person becomes like masturbatory almost. Like they'll intentionally leave out like bad
Yeah.
things they did, or they'll like glorify them to kind of make them into almost like a genius or a hero when maybe they weren't. And like I roll my eyes every single time I watch Straight Outta Compton. There's the scene where like Dr. Dre just magically comes up with the tune for it was the song with Snoop Dogg, but when it was sampled from like a
Yeah.
song that already existed, but like they were trying to play it off like he was just hitting keys and suddenly he figured it out, and he's just a genius. And I love NWA, but I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird. So I wanted to preface that before I say that
Yeah.
the greatest music biopic of all time is the movie called Control, which is about Joy Division.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's special because the family had like no connection to it. There was like it was basically they just asked for the rights, and the family's just like, fine, whatever, we don't care. And so it became this like honest, very real film. So I would say, yeah, I think Sam Riley's performance as lead singer Ian Curtis is one that like really comes to mind because it was so unfettered by needing to make its subject look good and needing to glorify them, because he lived a
Yeah.
really, really difficult life, and he wasn't also the best person, and it was a real struggle. Like he was a troubled guy, and like for those who don't know, is like his schizophrenia like developed and took over and eventually took his life. And it's a very, very honest portrayal of him. And like it feels less like you're watching a movie about a person and you're watching a beautiful black and white film about a troubled soul. And I think about it a lot because honestly, for that answer, sorry, for that question, I would either
Yeah.
say that or like Fassbender in Steve Jobs, because it's because he does a really good job there too. But I don't know. I think about Sam Riley in Control a lot, and I honestly I can't listen to like Joy Division music without thinking of that movie. It's really
Yeah.
crushing. It's not for everybody because it is just almost literally just a black hole of sadness, but it's a beautiful film, and it's very intentionally sad. Like it's not just meant to be
Yeah.
edgy. It's trying to tell a story about somebody that was like genuinely really troubled. So everything's done very purposefully.
Yeah. I think for me, the two that stick out to me that like moved me the most when I saw them is one, it was the is Eddie Redmayne playing Stephen Hawkins.
Mhm.
He like and like he did it so like sincerely that it
It's a very physical performance. Yeah.
yeah, and that's difficult. Like you can say lines, but having to, especially if it's a disease like what Stephen Hawkins had, and you don't have any of that disease, that's quite the challenge. Um, and then the other one is Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill in Darkest
And
Hour.
Darkest Hour.
Just
Yeah.
yeah, just Gary Oldman is just an incredible actor,
He
and
so is.
just, like that one didn't move me in the same way as Theory of Everything, um, but it was more just his performance over everything else that I thought
Well,
that
yeah. It's just like touching on the two performances.
yeah.
With Eddie Redmayne's in Theory of Everything, that one
Mhm.
was it was difficult to watch because so I have arthritis and muscular dystrophy, and so
Ah,
like my so like my bones are like they grow in weird ways, and like it puts me in a lot of
mm,
pain, and so I found like a bit of relation to the pain that he was going through, and it was presented very well, and I like how it's
yeah,
less about Stephen Hawking's life, and it's more so about
yeah,
his relationship with his then wife. And like because I mean it's based on her book, like it's based on her autobiography.
yeah,
It's not based on Stephen's perspective. And I think that's a really good thing. I think it works really well because instead of highlighting what made Stephen a genius, it highlights what made him a great human being and like just the
yeah,
day-to-day living and just existing. And so I think that Redmayne pulled it off really well. And I remember all the stories that were coming out like during the Oscar buzz where people were like, the
mhm,
movie was shot out of order. He had to on some days be like, okay, I'm perfectly healthy Stephen Hawking, and then swap between like really far along in the disease and
yeah,
then back and forth. Like he had to get into that mindset differently each day, and that's difficult. And
yeah,
I guess the briefest way I can describe Gary Oldman in Darkest Hour, because I it's been a while since I've seen that movie.
yeah,
I remember when the trailers came out and watching it, and then like just watching along, watching the performance in there as Winston Churchill, and then it was like at the end of the trailer it said starring Gary Oldman, and then like I remember looking over at my partner and being like, that wasn't Gary Oldman. And I was like, who the fuck was that guy? And then like later looking at it and being like, holy shit, that was Gary fucking
yeah.
Oldman, and being like, that's
They did
insane. Like, it was
such a
transformative.
good job with the makeup and
Yeah. And he
uh
embodies it well. You got the
yeah.
drawl and the jaw and everything. Like he had it right. God.
It,
Uh,
there is some.
oops, sorry.
I'll just say there's some like, wonderful roles done by people, but I think as well on the flip side of what you said about like when people pay for like the from their families stuff, they glorify obviously all the great things about them, make them seem like larger than life. I
Mhm.
think as well is when they do like biographs on biopics on uh like people like Ted Bundy and stuff. They definitely
Oh
up
yeah.
the just how bad people were. Like, of course, I'm not saying he was a good person. Very far from it. But they obviously with those, increase it just a tad, just to really
Oh
hit it
yeah.
home.
Try to present him as like just this like godlike like legendary killer when like he was a guy and a bad person.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it.
Everybody who saw him was consumed by him.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's definitely questionable getting like Zac Efron to play him.
Yeah. Is there any for you, Oroka, that like an actor
I was just
playing
about to
a
ask,
real
yeah.
life?
Oh no, I
actor?
don't know anything. I can't think.
Period, that's it.
I can't think of anything.
That's perfectly fine.
Do you have like a
Ah.
favorite performance just in general, like in movies?
Hmm. I mean, I could just go for the meme and say Bill Murray as Shrek, or as Garfield, but nah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Shrek, what? Nah, nah.
Funny
I-
story about that. Like, and this is true. So Garfield was directed by two guys. Their names are escaping me, but I remember their last names were Cohen, like Cohen, and
Oh,
no shit,
okay.
absolutely true. Bill Murray only said yes to doing Garfield because he thought it was being directed by the Cohen brothers,
yeah.
and not realizing it was the Cohen brothers. And yeah, then suddenly, bada bing, bada boom. Next day, he's contracted and can't say no anymore, and
Oh my god.
he learned it too late.
Yeah, I don't know
That
for
is
sure,
amazing.
but I think that there was a scene in Zombieland where someone asked him, "What's the
Yeah,
thing
what's your
that
one
you
regret?"
regret?" Yeah, what's the thing that
Yeah.
you regret the most? Garfield.
Yeah, he's a Garfield maybe. You see who the directors were. It was where are you? Okay, that's Peter Hewitt. I'm trying. I can find it. Or maybe it was who was produced by. Oh yeah, there it was. It was written by because it was written by Joel Cohen. Whereas, and I see the mistake now because in the
Yeah.
real Cohen brothers there is Joel Cohen. So
Mm,
I can see that.
Oh, so it's very close.
Yeah,
yeah.
poor guy.
That's funny.
Oh god. But yeah, now I'm wondering what just my favorite performance in
Yeah.
film just ever is. Probably something by like Toshiro Mifune from like the 60s or something. I don't know. Like Harakiri is maybe like my favorite because it was the story of it was a guy who um it was like in the final days of like the samurai era where
Yeah.
one day a man just shows up to a like samurai house essentially like a clan and would just sit down with them and be like, well, I'm here to commit seppuku, and he's like, I want a nice place to do it, that is my right as a former samurai. And they like set him up for it, they get him ready, and so but the whole time he's there he's like asking questions, and then he eventually asks, was there like a young man that rolled through here that also said he wanted to commit suicide by the blade? And they were like, yeah, but like he was a faker, so we just kind of let him do it, but like with a wooden sword, like almost like it was like a shitty like prank because they felt like he was breaking their honor. And then the guy who originally showed up just goes, oh, okay, I just wanted to confirm that because that was my son. And it's like
Oh.
becomes it's this like heartbreaking meditation where he's sitting on the mat with a sword in front of him just trying to tell these people how wrong they were for essentially like killing his son like over the grounds of like air quotes honor. It's a beautiful film. Like anybody that hasn't seen
Yeah.
Harakiri, it's stunning. It's from the 60s, and like it's pretty old now, but give it a shot because that movie not only is beautiful and heartbreaking, but it does lead into like an insane 10-minute long like 1 versus like 50 fight scene. But
Hell yeah.
it's beautiful. Sorry, not to go off on a tangent about Harakiri.
Oh,
I
no,
probably
no.
would put that among my favorite films of all time too.
Oh, yeah. Ah, it's tough to think of like just a favorite performance.
I think I
That
know
is-
one, or it's not
Oh,
my
go on.
favorite probably, but it's one that I find really impressive, and that's Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future 2. Not because of Marty McFly, but just because he plays so many characters in that movie.
That's true. He plays like his father
That's a very
and
good one.
Yeah, his younger
yeah.
self, his sister, or in the his future sister or future daughter, I think it was. So yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. No, that's an interesting point. That's true. Yeah, and you know what? By that extension, I guess we should also say, I forget his. I was just talking about him the other day because I saw him on The Nanny, but it was the guy who plays Biff, because across all
Oh,
3 movies he
Yeah.
plays like different incarnations of his ancestor,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're all great.
Yeah.
I think the only one that's sitting in my head, it's also a film that like I adore, is Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't make it like, I think the one thing I have a problem with most films where they have like someone who has some sort of disability is it's played up a bit too much, and it like kind of irks me. But his was just very sincere, and I love the way that he got the voice for it. It's just that the kid who was auditioning for young Forrest had that accent, and he found it fascinating. So he thought, okay, I'm gonna chill out with him on set, and I'm gonna learn that voice because it sounds right. And like, so I saw a video on Forrest Gump a while ago that I hadn't really considered. To like, obviously in the film, he's meant to be portrayed as like a dumb guy by everybody around him. But this video was like suggesting that actually he's more of a genius in his own way through habit. He, like most people, you know, that they have like when they get bored of something, they'd stop doing it. But he never really got bored of anything. So that was his power in the film, is just being able to keep working at things. And I mean, like, for as much as you can, people in the film say, "Oh well, it's just Forrest. He's a bit stupid." He came back a war hero, an Olympian. He had all. By the end of it, he has all these traits, and he never like loses who he is. He's just Forrest.
Oh yeah, well, Forrest Gump, so yeah, Forrest Gump is what we in writing call like a flat character, which is a good thing, and it's a
Yeah.
difficult character to write, and
Mm.
so a flat character type is a character that does not really change over the course of the story.
Mhm.
However, they change everybody around them, and they change the course of the plot just by their existence, and
Yeah.
yeah, like like they are the catalyst for everybody else's story arcs. However, they do not change themselves, and like that
Yeah.
that sounds easier to write than a developed character, but it's actually really not,
No.
because you have to focus on
Mm.
how that person affects everybody else. And Forrest Gump
Yeah.
is a textbook example of that kind of character.
And him saying goodbye to Jenny after she's passed, like,
Mhm. 'Cause
I
if you need me, I
struggled
won't
to
be far
watch
away.
that. It absolutely killed just when he asks her why she had to leave. It's just, can't do that. My heart, dude. I mean, it also helps that Tom Hanks is one of my favorite actors of all time. So, so maybe it's a little biased, but
He's a great actor. Yeah, that absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got an insane family. But no, I like the guy.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of those people where it's just kind of a chore to dislike him. And you have to like go fishing for reasons not to like the guy. Because yeah, he's a great producer. He's a great
Mhm.
like filmmaker in his own way. He's a phenomenal actor, and I guarantee you, like I could just be like, I could be on this podcast all day and be like, oh yeah, Forrest Gump is great, but there's like many that are way better. And
Oh
then
yeah.
like if I ever had the opportunity to ever meet Forrest Gump, sorry, not Forrest Gump, if I ever had the opportunity to meet Tom Hanks, the man himself, I would just like lose my shit and be like, holy shit, I get to meet Tom Hanks, man's a treasure. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I love the
I
guy.
think Bridge of Spies is another one that's been
Mhm.
brought up.
Yeah, like his work with Spielberg is incredible.
Actually, saying about like people playing actual people. Did you see his Mister Rogers film?
I did actually. Yeah, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
I was the only thing that annoyed me about that film is that we never got Mister Rogers over here, because it made me want to look up Mister Rogers, and then the more I found out about like the actual guy, I was like, my God, that man was incredibly good for children's TV and just TV in general. Like, he stood up for what he believed in, and he stood up against Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, incredible man. And I'd like that after that film. I was like, well, damn, we got Art Attack.
Well, it's a very and I love that movie a lot because
Yeah.
I like how it's less about the story of Mr. Rogers himself, like where he came from, how he started the show, it was more about his legacy and like what he left behind, because really the main character
Yeah.
is the reporter who's writing the piece on him.
Yeah.
Very intentionally so, though, because yeah, it's about how Mr. Rogers affected people and how the world was different by his
Yeah.
existence. And I think it's a really creative way to do a biopic, and I like that. I wish more people would attempt stories like that.
Yeah, rather than using the main, like the person it's about as the main pull, it's about someone else who just happens to be in the timeline of this person. And
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of funny that like you're saying how Forrest Gump is a flat character, like by affecting the world around him, and him playing Mr. Rogers is almost at that level. It's a little bit forward from there, but
Hmm.
because it's more about affecting everyone else around him rather than him changing massively. The only way he changes is just by seeing the pain in this other in the reporter and learning, well, okay, I now know how to deal with better with people who are in your situation. And it's
Yeah.
just like I think the main takeaway I have from it is just it's a really good show of different ways to deal with people without having to with like confrontational people without having to go to a also being confrontational and
Yeah.
just keeping you to yourself.
Yeah.
It's,
It's about picking the less obvious solution for things.
yeah.
All right. Well, we've already been going for 1 hour and 50 minutes, but let's just make it 2 hours. I do have two more questions. What's the most impressive thing that you've seen recently?
Like, most impressive movie?
Yeah, or special. Or,
Um,
I don't know.
let's see. Recently, okay, so I've been kind of out of the loop on. I have to like binge on a bunch of like recent films. So I would say, picking like I guess just from last year. I'll throw out. God, what was my? Trying to remember what my second place film was. Yeah, probably like I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which was my favorite film of last year. Because like every year I do a top 20 list of movies that I find to be my favorites, and yeah, that was the topper of last year's list. I thought it was because so often when you watch a movie that's meant to be like dissected, like you're meant to pick apart its metaphor and what it's trying to say, so often the metaphor is either obvious or there is a correct answer, like this is what you're supposed to get from it. But I love movies where there is no correct answer, where it's like there's a million things you can read from it, because that leads for great conversation. Like I love getting to talk about what people think of that movie and getting to hear what they think is really going on or what they think it's about, because it's not obvious. And I I can proudly say that I think I'm the only one I know who has like the take that I have on it. I've never met anybody that feels the same way. But I love that. I think that's really exciting. Yeah, I don't know. There's some great stuff out there. I don't know how
Yeah.
about you guys?
Well, mine's really easy. I've talked about this yesterday with Ben as well. Mine's Bo Burnham Inside. It's not really a
Oh,
movie.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's so impressive. He did all of it himself, the lighting, the camera work, the everything, and it's
Oh, this
so
is his first special since
no,
becoming a director.
yeah. It's his first special since like 5 years, I think. So it's
Yeah.
really impressive because he just made it because he wanted to do something while in lockdown, and it's so good. That's something that I would recommend to anyone, and it's probably one of my favorites of all time. It's
Wow. That's
incredible.
high praise.
I watch it like 3 times every day. That's not even a joke. It's so good.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I've seen his other specials, so I need to catch it. And I liked Eighth Grade, his directorial debut.
I haven't seen that one.
It's really good. Yeah, it's got a lot of love in it. It's got a lot of heart. Well, that was why I was excited for Inside, because I was like, oh wow, this is his first comedy special since becoming a filmmaker himself. So I
Yeah.
figured that was gonna rub off on it. I'm happy to say it sounds like it does.
Yeah, it's great. The song, it's mainly just songs, and the songs are great, but it's just most of his like old comedy stuff is actually like funny, but this is more about how he feels and that type of
It's
shit.
like a performance art piece.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. That's something that I highly recommend. And
Awesome.
the other question that I had. Oh wait, Ben, you answered the thing
Yeah.
first as well.
So if I say my jokey one, because it's also in there, because I was watching it last night, it was Starship Troopers. We were watching it last night, me and my friend, and I do love that film. It's what like, and one thing I didn't realize when we were watching it is the bugs and stuff still hold up incredibly well for a
Oh, good.
'97 film.
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay.
Jesus.
How much do you know about the director of Starship Troopers?
Not an awful lot. I'll admit.
Okay, because so my obsession every single year is the Cannes Film Festival,
Okay.
which actually just kicked off today. And it was either today or yesterday. I just know Annette premiered, but I'm excited because so yeah, for those who don't know, so Paul Verhoeven, who did Starship Troopers, also did like RoboCop, and he used to do like a lot of like really campy action movies. Here's the thing, that man hard pivoted because he's doing like straight up like artsy like masterpieces now, and like L is incredible. His new movie, I think it's called Vendetta, is like a film about like a bunch of nuns like dealing with like a curse or something, and like which is premiering at Cannes I think this week. And yeah, he's an extremely talented filmmaker, and I get just as excited for Verhoeven's like crazy campy stuff as I do like his really artsy stuff. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, because one thing I like, I was pretty sure what I was right about when we were watching it. It's like Starship Troopers specifically is like it's meant to be like an anti-war film, right? It's showing how like the pressure that people had to join up, and and
There's a lot of subtext,
yeah, and like, and I had completely forgotten until we watched it just how gruesome they also made it. Like they didn't hold back on having people stabbed, and you see it happen, go right through them.
Pretty grim.
And yeah, but if I was actually gonna give my actual answer for the thing, it'd be Luca, because we watched that with the family. And
I watched Luca literally last night.
oh, it was last night you guys watched. Okay, yeah. What did you think?
We had a really good time. I liked it. Yeah, I see. Like that's the first. I remember what I had mentioned afterwards was I'm like, that's the thing with Pixar is that, and I think I said something similar about Tom Hanks, where I was like, I'm like Pixar stuff. Much of it I've seen like done better somewhere else. However, it's such a chore to even pick it apart because there's so much love and there's so much beauty to it. Like I love the models that they use this time around where they're less like stiff and they're more bouncy and light, and I love the design of it.
Yeah, the faces are very like Wallace and Gromit.
I no fucking shit. That's also what I said last night. I said they look like Aardman characters, which is great, and it made me realize how much I missed Aardman. But one thing I really liked about Luca is I love its villain because he's not somebody that's on like a divine quest. He doesn't have any like power or anything. He's just a huge asshole, and I love that. Like he's just he's just this down to earth scumbag. And I love his only thing is he just wants prize money because like when I love the bit where he decides like at first they're doing the race like near the end, and like seeing Luca, and then stopping because he essentially realizes, wait, the reward money for catching a sea monster is way more than winning the race. And then realizing when Luca goes down the hill, he goes, okay, fine, well then I'll just make two incomes. Like chases them on the bike with a harpoon. I remember leaning over to Vix and being like, this guy's great. I love watching him.
Yeah, I think the one thing that me and my family all agreed on at the end is Pixar is like one of the best at just making sweet films. You can just sit there and sort of have the R afterwards.
They have a lot of love in them. And that's what I like about them.
I liked that there was no like as much as he was, the villain, he really wasn't a villain. He was just some guy that
Yeah, just an
wanted
asshole.
to keep winning, and I was obsessed with it.
Robbing, like, well, because it's funny, like when you first see him, you go, okay, all right, so it's a contest, and he's just very good at it. He always wins. And then later you see that, like, yeah, it's actually supposed to be a contest for children,
Yeah.
and he's just bullying like a bunch of kids by entering every year.
This like professional biker. He's got his professional bike and everything.
Yeah, I love it.
uh, yeah. So what was your other question you had, Oroka?
So the last question, and probably the last thing that we'll do today, because it's like 1 minute and then we've had 2 hours, but we can go a bit longer, not just too much. Is
go a little more,
which
sure.
game could get a good movie adaptation? So which game has like a good story that could get a good movie
Okay.
adaptation in your opinion?
So I'm very happy you asked this because I keep almost making a Twitter post about this. Like multiple times, like during E3, I think it's still in my drafts. I had like a post ready,
Oh, wow.
but then I like went against it because I'm like people. I don't think people follow me for my video game opinions, but when I okay, so there is a video game that I personally have always wanted to direct into a movie.
Oh, okay.
And that is Suda51's No More Heroes.
Oh my
Oh,
god. Yes,
And
that'd be amazing.
because it would work incredibly well. It has potential to be like the Raid-esque, just this like artsy like action film because
Yeah,
like when you think about it, each individual person have you guys played No More Heroes?
I have.
a
Yeah.
bit.
Okay. Well, so what's so amazing about it is like when Travis goes into the story, he begins as, just kind of the scumbag who just wants like money, power, fame, women. And, so the first guy he fights right off the bat is somebody who is at the end of his journey. He's got a beautiful home, he's got all the money he wants, he's famous from it. And Travis sits there. He's like, "This is paradise. This is what I want. This is what I'm gonna have." And the guy just looks at him and goes, "This is not paradise. I had to destroy everything to get to this point." And Travis doesn't care. He finishes the fight, flirts with Sylvia. That's the end. And but then from there on, every single person he fights is a reflection of either something he's becoming, something he's
Mhm.
losing. Like you have the guy in the baseball field with the guns who has a family who won't even talk to him because of the person he is. You have the superhero who is like this huge public face, but it's all just like an act. Like he doesn't even know who he himself is anymore. And it keeps going down this line until finally you meet Bad Girl, who is somebody that literally has a conveyor belt of people coming down, hitting them, drinking, sits down, feels nothing. Like Travis even sits down with her and goes, he's like, what you're doing isn't being an assassin. You're just a deranged killing maniac who it doesn't mean anything anymore. And she just goes, what's the difference? And it all just builds up into finally Travis now has to kill his sister for money. And then leading to this whole reveal that, oh, there actually isn't an assassin ranking. Sylvia's just been filming all this and selling pay-per-view tickets for the fights and just been profiting off it, off of Travis's misery. So yeah, by the end, no wonder, yeah, he runs away from it all. And No More Heroes 2, he returns because a whole generation has become inspired by what he did. Like they were like, oh, we want to be famous and go on the power trip like he did. And he has to come back and shut it down, essentially, like stop people from going down that path. And I love how you have this story that's divided up like Scott Pilgrim-esque between like 10 different fights, but each one, yeah, represents something that I'm sorry, each one represents something that Travis is killing within himself. So I feel like it's ripe for a film. I would love it.
That would be. That just sounds like if you could get someone like the John Wick, like that John Wick sort of action. You get people who can direct that sort of action. Whilst like you're taking the rest of like the visuals and everything, then mixing the two together, you could have something wonderful.
Yeah, because like if I could pick a filmmaker that's not me to do that, I want Takashi Miike. So he did like
Oh,
Ichi the Killer and like a bunch of samurai films, but
yes.
yeah, Samurai and Yakuza. But the reason why I mention him mostly is because No More Heroes was based on his films anyway.
Oh, okay.
That would make sense. It would make
Yeah.
too much sense. So that's like in a perfect world, Mike should be the one to do it. But like if you won't, I would love to. Like I've even thought in my head,
No one's
I
going
want
to,
Yaroslav. Like I want Yaroslav Beck to do the music for it, like the guy who does the music for Beat
Ooh.
Saber.
Oh my god,
Oh.
yes.
I want that so bad. Oh
Oh.
God, it's a fever dream.
And one hell of one. I love it.
So what would
Yeah.
yours be then, Ben?
Yeah, please.
Mine is a simple one that I think like they have everything they like they would need to turn like into a film or like a set of films. And being it also is a little biased because I love cowboy films. It's Red Dead
Okay.
Redemption.
Ah.
They
Oh,
have
that'd be interesting.
everything they need. Like the second game is already like extremely cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
So they have everything in place to just take what's there and make it more in line with cinema rather than video game. Obviously, take out bits that films don't particularly need, but it's got a character progression, characters going down in their progression, and it's very much a more character driven thing. But
So
I'd love to see someone take it.
if we were so if that were to happen,
Mhm.
would you rather? So let's say you're the producer, like you are making
Okay.
these films happen. Would you rather do Red Dead Redemption 2 first and then do a film about Red Dead Redemption, or would you rather do original Red Dead Redemption first and then maybe 2 later?
See, I've thought about that, and I don't know because I like the way that it played, going from killing them as John and then going back and playing Arthur. But that was also, they had written it. Like, I don't know if they had even planned at that point to have a prequel. So I feel like, as much as I like John, Arthur is a more compelling character. So maybe number 2 first.
See, I think I would agree, and I love both.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, then you've got the many characters in the first one, and then it's basically just John in Red Dead 1. So
Well,
you get a
because
bit
like
of a contrast.
what you could do honestly is if there was a movie adaptation, do the story of Arthur Morgan first, and then have the finale to Arthur's story. Then you like start to begin a little bit at the end there, like an epilogue with John's like home life, like on the farm, and then we like cut it off there, because then you can do a sequel where we like maybe either have a time jump or we have, then we really get to see John's life of like rebuilding himself, and then
Yeah.
lead into the story of RDR1.
Yeah, because it's implied that it's not even like that much ahead of
It's not.
the
No.
end of Red Dead 2, because it's just those policemen at the end of it, like at the start of Red Dead, just take his wife and kids, and they
Mhm.
just command him. Well, these guys, we're still after them, so if you want them back, it's this is up to you now.
Yeah, I
And
think it would work. Like I think they would flow into each other well.
yeah, it's whoever could run a good western of it, I would gladly give it to. But I
Give
don't
it
know.
to James Mangold, I would say. Like so he did 310 to Yuma. He also did Logan, the Wolverine
Oh
movie,
my
and
god,
like
incredible.
I
Okay, yeah.
he loves putting Western tropes into like non-Western films, and he's even done a couple Westerns. He also directed like Walk the Line and stuff about Johnny Cash, but
Oh, okay.
I think he could do it pretty well because he's shown he can do action. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Or if you want like a really interesting spin on it, you grab Tarantino and just see what happens.
I see. Like, I like Tarantino. I
love
feel like Tarantino
Tarantino,
would
but-
just do Django again.
Exactly.
Oh, boy.
But
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Like, it would have to be someone as well who's willing to take on a lot of sensitive topics, because they don't hold back in that game either. Like
Hmm.
they,
It
they
gets pretty
show that,
grim.
there's as there was a good bit of racism from people, both to native and black people, and it's like, it's the journey of not just Arthur, it's all the people there, but um I don't know. It would have to be really sincerely done.
Yeah, I think with the right team, you can do anything. So yeah,
Yeah.
I totally think it would happen. Absolutely. Which now makes me curious. Sorry, what would be your favorite, or what's your ideal pick
I
for a video
mean,
game in the movie?
I have two ones that are serious, and I have one that's like a joke, but that could be a really funny movie. Like,
Okay.
I think that Goat Simulator would be really funny as a movie.
Let's get Neville, Dean, and Taylor from like Crank to like do
Yeah.
it or something.
Yeah.
And the two serious ones are probably Titanfall 2 because it just has an amazing story.
Interesting.
And Portal, that could also be a really good one, I think.
I think Portal also has potential. Yeah, no, I see that with both of those. Because Titanfall 2, while I haven't played Titanfall 2, I know a lot about its story, and it's sort of like, like human mech friendship and
Mhm.
like the reliance on each other. Because you can't really have one without the other. I think that's really cool, and I think to explore in a film would be really interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't know who would.
I did write one more question, but I think that we have to call it for now, and we should do this another time
No problem at all. Yeah,
because
no,
this
hey, no,
this was a
seriously,
lot of fun.
thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun being here. It's great getting to talk to you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely do this again. Because that was
Absolutely. Well,
great.
You guys let me know.
You free tomorrow? No.
I was say I would, but I'm helping Vix with the stream tomorrow, which we're actually really
Yeah.
looking forward to. So
Yes.
I guess that's
I've been
my thing to plug.
Yeah,
That's doing
so
a stream tomorrow.
yeah, plug yourself and yeah, where where can we find you?
Yeah, I am at so I'm on Twitch and Twitter both at Loto Malick. Yeah, I on my Twitch I run a show at Last Look Cinema, which is what I call my stream. Where I highlight other VTubers or I highlight what movies they love, or I'll do like educational events where I'll talk about filmmakers. I very soon I want to start doing streams where I try to write professional screenplays, but I have the chat dictate like how it goes.
Oh
Um,
yes.
and I want to put on a Marvel event. There's a lot I want to do, and also
So much
I'm just
potential.
I'm consistently at Vix Hellfire streams. Yeah, they're my partner, and I love getting to essentially be their producer, like sit over their shoulder and just kind of like help on the tech side, because I imagine, much like the debut stream, whatever streams we do is going to begin with a rock solid idea and then eventually devolve into us drinking and just watching Jersey Shore clips. So that sounds
Oh my
interesting.
God.
Yeah, check that
Wonderful.
out. But no, you guys are doing a really great show here, and I love podcast ideas in VTuber space because like everybody here is essentially part performer anyway, and everybody here has like their own like self-image and creativity at their building. So getting to essentially whatever guest you bring on, they're pretty much guaranteed to be interesting or have a lot to say. So doing a podcast like this is really creative, and I'm really happy I got to help be on the ground floor of it.
No, it's great having you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.
Let me know if I'm ever invited back. This was fun.
By the way, you're invited back.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We'll put this on again sometime soon. Let me know. But yeah, it's great hanging out with you guys today.
Yeah.
So Ben, where can we find you?
Oh yeah, you can find me on Twitter at bzukuro, and then on Twitch at bantosukuro.
Wow.
And then I've just set up a TikTok, because it was advised to me.
That's
it
funny
only
because
has
I
one
also
on
did
there.
that.
Yeah, it also only has one clip on there right now, but It's something.
Yeah.
And we all start somewhere.
Yeah, it's a clip from like I'm mostly just gonna be putting stream clips on there, I think, but you know, who knows?
Great extra bit of
Maybe I'll
promotion.
fall into it.
So yeah, this was it's live now. So this was the second episode of the of the Orokast. If you're live in chat right now, the link to the Spotify thing is in chat right now. So go and follow that, please. And yeah,
We will find you.
we will find. So yeah, you can find all the episodes after the stream on there, maybe a couple hours after. So yeah, and on my YouTube you can also find them if you want to see what we're doing right now, but it's not that interesting on screen. It's just a couple of PNGs talking. So yeah, and that's basically it for today. Thanks for being here, Loto, and yeah,
Absolutely.
hope you enjoyed it, and definitely do this again. And this was the episode then.
Well, there we
Thank you very
go.
much.
Thank you very much for being.
Yeah.
Thank you for people watching. I was just about to suggest that one.
Yeah, I know.
Because they're playing Celeste as well, and you adore
Yeah,
Celeste.
I saw it.
Even
Uh,
better.
So yeah,
Ah,
this was the episode then. Until next time.
until next time, thank you
take
very
care.
much for coming, everybody. I love you.